Good morning, Year 3. Happy Wednesday. And I have another couple of plot points for us. We've only got today and tomorrow left with our story, and then you're going to start your own independent version as well. So let's get straight into it. So this is our next plot point for today. Now, as a little bit of background knowledge, the boy and his mother, after spending that night on the street, they finally arrive at the coast. So they've walked all the way from their town, all the way to the sea, and they can just afford to get a boat to another country for safety. But they have to queue for hours to get on that ship. So that's what's just happened before these plot points, and you can use that in your story at the beginning today if you'd like, just to make it link a little bit better, make it clear what's happened. Okay, so let's have a look at our initiates. So our first one today, when the boy and his mother are on the boat, we are going to think about all the things that they can notice, all the things that they can see. And they're quite far away at the beginning, but imagine you are coming into shore on a boat, and think about all the things that you might be able to see the outlines of when you are far away. So pause the video, and in your first box today, jot those things down for me. Okay, so I've come up with a few things here. So we might be able to see things like buildings or outlines of people, outlines of cars, things like that. So just different things that you can see. You might have been able to see hills or things like that as well. So once the boy and his mother have been noticing all of those things, what I'd like us to also think about is where can they see those things? So this is a different one of our adverbs. We're not looking at time adverbs, we're looking at place adverbs. So where could the boy see the outlines of the buildings? Where could he see the people? Where could he see the cars? Have a pause of the video and jot down some where adverbs in your second box, please. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the where adverbs that I have come up with. So we've got things like from the ship and in the distance as well. So they are some of the places that the boy could see these outlines. So that's what we're going to write about in our first paragraph today. When they're on the boat, all the things they could see and where they could see them from. So the next day we arrived at the coast. There was a huge ship waiting for us. We queued up for hours and finally got on board. Sailing across the ocean, I saw some amazing things. The clear blue water turned green and dark, and then in the distance I saw outlines of buildings, trucks and people. As the fog cleared, the sun shone down on my new home. So I've used a range of adverbs here. I've used some time adverbs and some place adverbs as well. And I've used those to kind of like create some effect, to make it a bit more interesting, to explain to the reader all those different things as well. I've then used all of my noticing section here. Some of it is about what I can see in the distance. Some of it is about the ocean as well. So you can always extend it and make it more exciting. And I wonder if anybody could mention in the comments what lens I have used at the very end here as well. The fog cleared, the sun shone down on my new home. Hopefully we'll be able to work out what that one is as well. Think about, we did a very, very similar thing yesterday, but when it was a sad moment. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to pause the video and spend about 10 minutes or so writing your sentences about getting on the ship, what we can see and where we can see those things. Come back for plot point 2. Okay, so this is our second plot point here today. Now, the boy and his mother have managed to make it to the country that they're safe, but obviously they've only just arrived. They don't have a new house or anything like that. So they've had to sleep in what looks like a sort of hostel. So loads of people surrounding them as well. We looked at a really similar picture actually on that experience day last week. So imagining how they must feel surrounded by all of those people. Now, it's a new country as well, so things are really different for them. And one of the things that we're going to talk about in our initiates is the fact how different things are. So our first initiate here is to have a look at taste. So once the boy and his mother have slept for the evening, they obviously go and get some breakfast. This is a different country. They're not used to it. The food is different. And so I want us to come up with a list of taste words that are negative. So pause the video here, and in your third box, can you write down some negative taste words, please? Okay, so I'm sure you've got plenty of things you can think of that describe things negatively. So I've got things like sour, tasteless, and plain. So I went with the point of view that maybe the food in the boy's country was really flavourful, maybe it was lots of spices and lots of herbs, and then he's come to a country where it's all quite bland. So he's going to use those words for me. Now, our second initiate for today, also things that are different. So the food he doesn't like, but also he's in a different country that doesn't speak his native language. So I thought we could come up with using a metaphor to describe the fact that all the sound around him is completely alien. He can't communicate with people, and people can't really communicate with him because he just doesn't understand what is going on. So have a go. A metaphor is when we describe something that can't actually happen, and see if you can describe something to do with the sound as a metaphor. It's a bit of a tricky one, but give it a go. Pause the video for me and then see if you can come up with one or two. Okay, so my metaphors that I came up with were things like the silence is deafening, the voices squawked in my head. So silence can't be deafening because it's silent, so you can't get deafened by it. It can't be too noisy, and voices can't actually squawk in your head, but it's creating that idea that everything that he's hearing is just so alien to him. Okay, so let's have a look at our model for today. That first night we slept in a strange place after eating some unusual food. The food was cold and smooth, but tasteless and bland, not like the food back home. We heard words I didn't understand. I couldn't speak to people, and the silence was deafening. So again, I've used my adverbial phrase at the beginning here. I've talked about the fact the food was strange and that I couldn't speak to anybody. So this is your final plot point for today. So you can pause the video here and write about 10-15 minutes about the fact that you don't like the food and that you can't understand anybody. So pause the video here for me. Okay guys, so that was your Wednesday lesson for English today. Now hopefully you're enjoying the story. I'm much happier that the boy is starting to get a little bit of safety now, and I'm sure he'll get used to things as well. So tomorrow, Thursday, is our final writing for the story, and then we'll start planning on Friday. So pop back then for some more English. Have a lovely day guys, and I will see you very, very soon.